Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and welcome to the first annual Astros Awards. Written, filmed, directed, and hosted by Weston, i.e., me. And by the way, don't even worry about it. We're going full class tonight. I have a tie. That's how much I care about the production quality of this. I got a necktie specifically for this. So yeah, soak it up, enjoy it. I'm wearing a necktie over a jersey. I look like an idiot. Um, and don't worry, unlike pretty much every other award show, I will not be bringing up politics or telling you to vote. Let's get into the awards. Starting off with Team MVP, I'm giving it to George Springer. He had a really good year offensively. It was kind of a quiet, sneaky good year. 14 home runs, a 359 on base, and a 899 OPS, along with a 140 OPS plus. He had a sneakily good year, and it was really boosted by that last month of play. Springer went off in the last month. He was pretty good all throughout, but that last month, I will keep saying it, that was a very good last month. I believe he hit 9 of his home runs in the last month, and had an on-base around 450 for the last month. It was truly mind-blowing. A lot of people are giving it to Martin Maldonado, and I'm not going to tell them they're wrong, because you can easily debate that Martin Maldonado deserves it. I'm going more by offensive statistics, and that maybe isn't the right way to go. In my mind, Springer got it, but I see why people are giving it to Maldonado, and he's obviously an honorable mention. He is easily the runner-up on the team, and I don't think it's close. It's very close between 1 and 2. I think it's either Springer or Maldonado, and then it's a ways down before third place. Maldonado, the people who do argue with it, or for Maldonado, and I'm going to discuss that briefly because I think it deserves to be, is how good he did dealing with our rookie pitchers. He nursed a pretty good team ERA out of essentially an entirely rookie staff, aside from, like, Greinke and Presley. Those are the only ones that really come to mind off the top of my head that were, like, seasoned veterans. Everyone else is pretty much either this is their first year or this is their, like, second year. Like, most of our players were just have barely gotten their feet wet or hadn't even gotten their feet wet yet in the majors. And Maldonado was able to steer them pretty well. So I get why people say Maldonado. I'm going with Springer, not to undercut Maldonado at all. I think he could win a Gold Glove this year. And that is not a spoiler for Gold Glove segment of this video. I will get to that in a bit of if it's Maldonado or not. Going with the Cy Young second up. It took me a while to deliberate on who got it. I went back and forth about 4 times before finally making my decision, and I made my decision as I was getting ready to film this. Like, I had actually the first name written out, and then I looked at the stats more before I filmed, and I scratched it out, and I went with this guy. My winner is Framber Valdez. And it was so close to being Christian Javier's award, because he had better statistics. He had a better ERA, he had a better ERA plus, he had a better whip, but a 15-inning discrepancy between Christian Javier and Framber Valdez makes it hard for me to give it to anybody else. Framber led our team in strikeouts, he led our starters in innings, he led our starters in ER, or technically not ERA, but he was second close to Christian Javier. It was very close and it was very tight, but I have to give it to Framber. He had an incredible year. He was the most improved player on our team by far. Framber Valdez, man, he blew my mind this year. 70 and 2/3 innings pitched, 76 strikeouts, a 126 ERA plus. I keep messing that up. He only gave up 5 home runs, which gave him a homers per 9 of .6. That is very good. And he had a 1.118 whip, which is also pretty good. The 2 main statistics that made me give it to Framber Valdez were the innings, because he pitched quite a few for our team. He led it in innings pitched, and it wasn't particularly close. And then also FIP, which FIP, time for me to go off about advanced analytics. I know people love when I do that. FIP is fielding independent pitching, which is essentially an ERA adjuster, an estimator. It goes off of home runs, strikeouts, and walks, which are the 3 true outcomes, which is really what a pitcher has to control. They don't control the fielding, so it's a nice ERA calculator. And he led the team, well, at least starters, with a 2.85. If that were his actual ERA, which is what it is, adjusted with that off of the 3 true outcomes, that is a very, very good ERA. That is all-star caliber, easy. That is, depending on what year it is, potentially Cy Young caliber. Framber Valdez, for a while there, was very, very close in the running for Cy Young, and then Shane Bieber just pulled away. And, I mean, this is about the easiest Cy Young vote you can... Side note, this is about the easiest Cy Young vote you'll ever have for a league with, like, Shane Bieber. It's honestly hysterical to me how far and away Shane Bieber is to basically everyone else in the conversation, at least in the AL. Like, I think if you were debating overall of baseball between him or Bauer, I think it's pretty close, but boy, for the AL, it is not even a tight race between Bieber and the next guy. But for our team, I'm going with Framber Valdez. For our Rookie of the Year, I'm giving it to the guy who I didn't give the Cy Young to, Christian Javier. He did lead all of our starters in ERA, he did lead all of our starters in ERA+, and he did lead them all in WHIP. Christian Javier had a very good season, and he would have won the Cy Young, and I had him there for a while, if he would have pitched a few more innings. If Christian Javier would have gotten to the 60 innings threshold, I probably would have given it to him. He had a very good rookie season. A 3.48 ERA, a 129 ERA+, and a .994 WHIP. That is a very, very good season. Just for a starting pitcher, that's pretty good. 129, that's about usually where Baseball Reference has that caliber at all-star level. So just anyway, that's a good year for a pitcher. But when you're talking about a rookie, that was a fantastic year by Christian Javier, and it really can't be understated. If it weren't for a certain Seattle Mariner, the Astros, and if Kyle Tucker would have not had two less plate appearances last year, I think the Astros might have had 2 Rookie of the Year candidates in Tucker and Javier. That's how good his rookie season was. It was really exciting to watch Christian Javier pitch. He had a very good season, and he actually had a pretty good postseason too coming out of the pen. I tried to not really bring postseason into this, and I think I did a pretty good job leaving that completely out of it, but I might have let a little slip in, but I don't think I did, because I really was just looking at regular season numbers. So I'm hoping that there was no subconscious recency bias weighing into this, and I don't think there was. For Breakout Player of the Year, onto our next award, I'm giving it to Kyle Tucker. And Kyle Tucker, for the past few years, has really been this guy that every trade deadline, especially in 18, especially in 19, like last year, the Astros have always come out and said, he's the untouchable piece. We're not moving him. We're not moving Forrest Whitley. And every year, we'd hear everybody talk about, why aren't we trading Tucker? Why aren't we trading Tucker? Why not trade him? He hasn't done anything at the major league level. He's been really bad. Why don't we move on? Why don't we get a haul for him? Why don't we bring in these guys that can help us win a World Series? Why not do that? Kyle Tucker this year showed everyone why not. He had a very, very good season. 9 home runs, a 123 ER or OPS plus. Great number there. I absolutely love that. 837 OPS. And 6 triples, which I'm only throwing in there because I think it's hilarious that he hit so many triples. Kyle Tucker had a breakout year. He easily had the breakout year. The best breakout year of any of the Astros. And I'm saying the way I'm using breakout year is sort of also like a most improved thing. I'm using it as a player who's been at the majors, which Kyle Tucker, he had a decent attempt in 18. He had a few games. I think it was 20-some. And then last year he played enough to overcome being a rookie. He exceeded rookie limits last year. Barely. I believe it was 2 plate appearances over. And he was not great. He was okay, but he wasn't great or anything. He wasn't even good. He was below mediocre, I would say. And then this year he came out and had a very, very nice season, including an incredible, a week or 2 week stretch there, around the Rockies games, that he was just annihilating everything that was near him. That was an unbelievable stretch right there for Kyle Tucker. And he really is the breakout player of the year, and he just kind of exploded. I think he really put a lot of people on notice, be like, oh, they have a really good outfielder prospect there in Kyle Tucker. I noticed a lot more people talking about Kyle Tucker just in the baseball community and being like, oh, wow, they have a good guy in him. He's going to be pretty good pretty soon. And if he hadn't taken 2 plate appearances last year, just 2 less, he probably is your Rookie of the Year this year, and we probably go back-to-back with Jordan and Tucker. 2 Rookie of the Year lefties if he hadn't had 2 less plate appearances last year, which is just, why does it always work out like that? Anyway, Moving on to Reliever of the Year. There is a Reliever of the Year award. I believe it's called the... I don't know what it's called, actually. I know the technical term, but I can't think of it. Our Reliever of the Year, I'm giving to Andre Scrub, who had a very funny season. He had a great ERA. I don't know if he led the team in ERA, but he had a 1.90 ERA, which is very good. It's really good for relievers as well. A 2.38 ERA plus, which is really, really good. 24 strikeouts, and I believe just 20 innings pitched. I want to make sure I'm correct. 23 and 2/3. He also had 20 walks, but I mean, don't talk about the walks. Don't talk about the walks. Look at that ERA number. It's so low, 1.9. That's a great ERA. He was a great reliever for us. He came out of nowhere, and we got him essentially for a couple of pennies and a half-eaten peanut butter sandwich last year at the deadline. I like Tyler White. Don't misconstrue it. He was pretty good for a little bit there. He was a cool person. I like him as a person. But we got a potentially elite reliever in exchange for Tyler White, who he wasn't going to be elite anytime for us. Again, I like Tyler White a lot. Don't misconstrue it. But we made out of that deal like bandits. And I would even say, and I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but just let me say it. The Andre Scrub trades and the Blake Taylor trade, both were great trades. I know we had to give up 2 fan favorites in Marisnik and Tyler White. I understand that. But we really needed relievers. Like, think about how bad our bullpen would be this year if we didn't have Blake Taylor and Andre Scrub in it. Also, if you want to talk about relievers of the year, you could easily argue Blake Taylor into it, and maybe it's just because I'm a fanboy of him, but I would argue almost in Noli Paredes, but I'm very sad that I actually didn't get a place to put Noli Paredes here. I almost wanted to put fan favorite player of the year just so I could put Noli somewhere because of how much I love that guy. Great year. There's a video that I'm working on about Noli Paredes and why I think he could be elite soon that I will be coming out in the next week or so. But I'm still giving it to Scrub. He had a great rookie season. He had a great season, period. On to our Gold Glove. I'm going to get crap for it. I understand that. I'm going with Carlos Correa. I can hear everyone yelling at me, and I can hear people judging me. I understand that Correa is a bit of a hot pick for Gold Glove. He had a lot of great plays, a lot of highlight plays. If the MLB and everyone didn't hate the Astros, he would have been on a lot more of them. But he made a lot of great plays. And going by DRS, which is defensive run saved, he was second of all shortstops, only behind Dansby Swanson of the Braves, which, kind of funny. Dansby Swanson had 10 and Correa had 8. For reference, the 2-time Gold Glove Award winner, Francisco Lindor, had 2, and Andrelton Simmons, who's won 4 Gold Gloves, I believe a Platinum Glove, and has a video by a certain Foolish Baseball about why he could potentially be a Hall of Famer, had -2. And Andrelton Simmons is a fantastic shortstop. And the fact that Correa had 8 is truly incredible. Correa had a fantastic Gold Glove season, and I think he is not just the Gold Glove for this team. I think he's just the Gold Glove shortstop, period. I don't think it's necessarily close. He had a very good season. There's not a ton of shortstops in the AL that were close to him. If people look at it reasonably and don't look at the cheating scandal, Correa should run away with Gold Glove voting and should win it easily. I fear that people might look at the cheating scandal and not want to give it to him just because they're still a little mad at him. And also, before anyone says anything, I understand that a lot of people are probably mad at me for not putting Martin Maldonado here because I said he could have won MVP. I understand that. I just thought, I don't know, it's hard to quantify a catcher because it's really just their thinking of their Gold Glove and a bit of framework. And he was a good framer, I'm not going to lie. I think Martin Maldonado also might win the catcher's Gold Glove for the AL. They're both really good defensive players. I'm not going to lie and say they aren't. It's a real easy toss-up between Correa and Maldonado. I think a lot of people are going to go with Maldonado, and I'm not saying that's the incorrect choice, but I personally am going with Correa because of that massive DRS number of 8. That is really, really good. And finally, to wrap up the awards, Silver Slugger I'm giving to Springer, which I kind of debated on even putting that there because I feel like it's kind of redundant to put in a Silver Slugger because that's obviously just going to be the MVP. But Springer wins the Silver Slugger for all the reasons I already listed: 14 home runs, 359 on base, and a 899 OPS with a 140 OPS plus. Those are the reasons he wins the Silver Slugger. That should be obvious. So yeah, that wraps up the Astros awards for this year. In conclusion, Springer is the MVP and Silver Slugger. Valdez wins the Cy Young. Javier wins Rookie of the Year. Tucker is the Breakout Player of the Year. Scrub is the reliever. Correa wins the Gold Glove. And even though I already said it, Springer got the Silver Slugger. Thank you all so very much for watching. I have an Anoli Paredes video in the works. I have it already written out. I just need to work on filming it, which should be coming out in the next couple days. After you see this, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Stros.